Babe. Renee and I were laying in bed this morning. We got to thinking, maybe we should take you along for a different type of journey today. One that you normally wouldn't see from the Hanks family, but something that's really crucial, especially when it comes to travels. Today we want to slow things down and take you along for the journey and show you how we pack up our campsite, secure everything down, and all the behind the scenes, because there's a lot that's going on. So stay with us as we bring you some great tips today. We keep things really laid back and you get a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak. We got some laundry on. Let me go brush my teeth, change my clothes, because I just rolled out of bed like this. I'll see you on the other side. Well, I did want to say one thing to start off. Think about packing up your RV kind of like taking off and landing an airplane. Both are very crucial moments when it comes to the travel, so to speak, and a lot can go wrong. So you want to take this very seriously. You want to make sure you have a place for things when you pack up and make sure everything's secured down. A good way to think about it is prioritizing what needs to be done first and what could be put off on the list until later on. So let's head outside and let's talk through some things. So early in the morning, when I know it's a day we're packing up and going to a different campsite, I kind of handle the logistics outside with the sewer hookups, the water, making sure we have everything in order before hitting the road. One of the main things I like to do is getting the tanks dumped early, and the reason for that is because it allots me the time I feel comfortable with, meaning I don't have to rush and I can take my time thoroughly flushing out the black tank, making sure all the tanks are really refreshed and emptied before we get on the road. Don't just stick this into one broad category of treating your tanks. Think ahead. Where are you going to be at your next campground? Are they going to have a sewer hookup there, or are you going to have to make accommodations for maybe like a dump station or a honey wagon coming around? We're actually heading to an RV site where we are going to experience it for the very first time, having to deal with a honey wagon. So they don't have any sewer hookups whatsoever. So I want to make sure our black tank is completely emptied and really good to go before we make our transition over to the other park. I keep all of our sewer supplies in here. I've been using this bin since we started full-time RV living 7 years ago. This puppy has been lasting us for a long time. It's cheap and it does the job of keeping everything organized. For us, I'm always leaving our gray tanks open because we have the laundry running all the time, or we're constantly doing dishes. That's just personal preference. Kind of do whatever floats your boat, so to speak. Having said that, you should always be keeping your black tank closed until you're completely ready to dump. Yeah, it's RV newbie 101, but it needs to be said. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut these gray tanks here. I'm gonna hook up my flush hose for the black tank here, and then we'll get this black tank ripping and get her cleaned out really nice and well. See, now that the tank is actually dumping, it allows me to free up my hands so that I can do other things while that's getting a good flushing out. Now, don't go making the mistake of shutting your black tank and trying to do that where you fill it up a little bit and then release it, because if you're trying to multitask, I guarantee eventually you're gonna make the mistake of forgetting to open your black tank valve, and it's just gonna end up in a nightmare. I'm sure you can read the comments below, and there's a lot of people that can attest to that. Just saying. I wanted to draw your attention real quick to back here. I never really got to share this before, and this is something new that we put through our pass-through, is these hooks right here. we use these to store our hoses on. So the bottom one is for the black tank because it sits right next to the black tank sewer supplies. And then the top one up here is for our fresh water tank, you know, for our fresh water supply when we hook up to city water. So I just thought it was a kind of a neat thing to share with you guys, that coming up with mods kind of helps take the stress off the plate when keeping things organized, especially on travel days. I even have a hook right here, same ones as across the way, just right here next to the door, because I use these twist tie things. They're heavy duty twist ties to wrap around the hoses, and they keep them stored right here for easy access. So whenever I do wrap up the hoses, grab one, I'm good to go, just to keep everything really organized. So if you're interested in these, we'll have everything in the links below in the description on the Amazon store. You don't have to have this stuff. Don't stress about it, but if you like the convenience, it's not a bad way to go. Here, I'll leave you there. Okay, stay. Now, something I do want to say and mention is getting laundry started. Since we know we're going to a campground without a sewer connection, I went ahead and started laundry as soon as I rolled out of bed this morning. So it's pretty cool to know that I could be dumping the black tank right now, which I am, running laundry, almost killing two birds with one stone. Not bad. Get your bags packed, sir. We're hitting the road soon. Nene, you out of bed yet? Everyone's waiting on you down here. She'll be right down. While we're waiting on Nene to come down, I'm gonna get these dishes banged out here real quick. Once again, we want to fill those gray tanks up to kind of help flush out the black tank after we're done dumping it. Did I mention that already? I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Basically, when you dump your black tank, you want to have something to clear out the rest of that tube after you're done dumping the black tank, because some of those remnants can kind of hang out in there. It's just nasty to think about, I know. And yes, we are people who left dishes in our sink since last night when we made pancakes. It's just sometimes how we roll, you know? We're working on it. You really enjoy this content and you're finding a lot of value from it. Listen, we come out with new videos every single Thursday. You could be the first to know about it if you subscribe to our channel. It's absolutely free, and well, it's just a way of telling YouTube that, hey, I want to see more of this content. So hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it.
Good morning. I'm here. No, I was not sleeping in and cuddling with Dexter all morning. No. Thank you. Do I just look so good in the morning?
You look beautiful, baby.
Thanks. Stop. Get that out of your head. I've been up and looking like this for hours now. For us, packing up the inside requires more of a process when it comes to packing up the outside. Mostly because we don't have a crazy outdoor setup like a lot of people have. We don't have chairs and a whole carpet. We're full-timers. We spend a lot of time inside. And as you can see, the place looks like it's been lived in. Now, there is no specific order that I pack the inside first. I don't do the upstairs first versus the downstairs. I literally have squirrel brain, and I'll start packing one thing, and as I walk away, I'm like, oh, I could put bathroom stuff away. So it is very sporadic, and it doesn't matter. It's just as long as you get everything packed away the right way. And you know what? While we're in this area, let's just start over here because, hey, why not? But this bookshelf will end up getting turned and facing here so that it's just less of a risk for things to fall out. Now, I used to do just a tension rod across here, thinking that's good enough, right? Nothing should fall out because it's not coming this way. But every time we got to our location, all these books would be down like this. And it was just annoying, so I thought to add a second tension rod that puts pressure on the bottom here and it kind of goes at an angle. Remember, guys, this isn't the way to do it, it's just the way we do it, and it works for us. We do use this basket to store like a lot of our small electronics and cables, so as I go along, I will pick up cables and chargers and I'll throw them in this basket, and it is fine during a travel day. Dexter toys as we go. She shoots and she scores! All right, let's not get distracted, let's keep going. I don't want the bookshelf doing this during a travel day. I turn it and then push it against this wall. Over time, this has wore the paint down, and I don't like that, and I've been contemplating putting something here to protect it.
Think of the RV. The most bouncy part is going to be in the rear of the RV. You know, it's behind the axles, and everything back here is just no cushioning to the blows when you take those travel days on those rough roads. So just keep that in mind. Whatever you put in the rear of your RV, it's going to take most of the brunt of the wear and tear.
Some people ask if we take down our canvas photos or anything that's hung up on the walls in the back or in the RV in general. The only thing that we take down and secure is our clock above the pantry. So we do use command strips to secure this. This is command strip secured, our little YouTube play button. This is a big one that people like to ask, is how we secure this desk. Do we strap it down? Do we have it bolted to the ground? How do we prevent this desk from ending up over there. I'll tell you. I'm just gonna move the guitar. I'm just gonna move the guitar for a second. I'll show you where I put it later. I'm just moving it. I'm just moving it. Let's do it right, and let me get all this off the desk first. We have a backpack for our computers, so that gets secured in the backpack, whether we keep them in the truck with us to work on travel days. If we keep them in the RV, it goes up in the bedroom. And why up in the bedroom are we putting it? Well, we're gonna get to that in this video of why it's so important to put stuff in the front of your RV.
I'll help you out here. Oh, thank you.
This is that can of Skull that you guys say is in my back pocket all the time in videos. It's a lens cap. Okay, we're ready to secure this desk. Now this is a standing work desk, so it has a motor and it's pretty heavy. Because of that, it doesn't go far. The most this thing will shift on a travel day is maybe like that. You have to remember that these two slides come in and they go to about here. So because of that, there's not a lot of movement forward, but I do prevent the chairs from getting stuck into the slides so that when we bring them out, they're not like breaking anything. I have this bungee cord that I keep underneath here. One bungee cord. I will take one chair and I push it into the desk, I push it into the bookshelf. And to prevent this from shifting around too much, I literally take the bungee cord and I just go around the leg of the desk. I go around the bottom of the chair. Bada bing, bada boom. I don't really have the best explanation of why this works for us and we do it all the time. It's one of those, I tried it and it's been working ever since, so don't fix something that's not broken, I guess.
Laundry's coming along quite nicely. Welcome to my man cave. Not really. One thing I did want to talk through is this TV is mounted on a bracket back here that we bought, and it's been really great. So we can pull it out, push it in on travel days. We have a Bose soundbar that we had also bought a few years back. And here's a cool trick for you guys. This is actually mounted via museum putty. Museum putty is such a great thing to have on hand. It's really cheap and you can actually mold it in your hands and place it underneath objects that you just don't want to move. So how has the TV been holding up during travel days back here? Well, actually, we haven't had any issues, knock on wood. So when I swivel this in, we have these hooks back here that we installed. We just made it really simple here with a zip tie. Hook it, and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Keep it simple for yourself, and if something goes right here, guess where it's gonna go on a travel day? Right below it. Do I do any tension rods or bungee cords in there? No. Now we do like to put stuff on the shelf. These are Corelle dishes, but on a travel day, this can end up being pushed against the door, and then when you open the cabinet, everything will fall out on you. So these Corelle dishes, they will shatter if they have enough force, but for the most part, you can bang these around and they are not going to break. Out of having these for so many years and all the dishes coming out of the cabinet, we only lost one bowl. Let me repeat that. All the dishes came out. All of them. I think this is a set of like 16 dishes. They all ended up on the floor on a travel day and only one bowl broke. So if you're looking for a good dish to have for RVing that doesn't break, check our Amazon store. These are all plastic. We have a few like glass measuring cups, but I don't do anything special with that.
So you leave the glass up here?
Yes.
You don't put it down here?
And here's why. Because we have shelf liners.
Okay.
So they just don't move. A lot of questions we get when you guys reach out is, do we keep our knives up here on travel days or do we take them down?
Look at that messy drawer.
Don't look in there. We have a towel that we designate and we literally just take them all down and wrap them up to keep them safe. Kind of like a burrito, you know?
Oh, I like that.
I feel like I work at Chipotle right now. Why do we take our knives down when a lot of people say that you could leave them up, the magnet's strong enough, you shouldn't have to take them down? Well, we just don't want to take a chance because when you get to your campground and it's time to put out slides, you will forget to look for things like, did my knives fall off? Had this dish rack for a few years and it is really awesome because it doesn't take up a lot of space, nor does it get really dirty. With this, we either put it in the microwave on a travel day or we'll just leave it in the sink. Speaking of the sink, that is wonderful real estate for travel days. You have a bunch of items that you're not sure where to put and you're like, well, I don't want to put them far because I want to be able to just get them out when we get there. Put it in your sink.
This is a new rug that we got. We've had many in our travels and we just like to keep it really simple here is we'll roll this rug up about halfway like so, and it just kind of sits in between both slide outs like Renee was talking about earlier when the opposing slide outs come together. This will just kind of fit in like a nice little wrap gift.
We don't do tension rods in the fridge. Our doors latch perfectly fine, so we don't have to worry about anything flying out, but I just like to make sure there's nothing glass or anything that could make a mess if it tips over. Think ahead and just take items that you think could cause some issues. Like I'm gonna switch, this is plastic, I'm gonna put that on top, and I'm gonna put the glass down here. Now I'm not saying you can't put tension rods in here, you can, but I just feel like it's overkill because for the most part everything does fine. Just think, the more things that you secure and put tension rods up for, that many times you have to put it up and take it back down.
I think it brings up another great point, like Renee was saying. You know, for our situation, we're constantly moving, and sometimes we'll move like 3-4 times a week. But if you are somebody who only takes weekend trips, or maybe just part-time and you don't move a lot, hey, take the extra few steps and secure things down just for more peace of mind. I don't think anyone will argue with you on that one.
Now I have a tip for mostly the husbands, but for anyone who's outside and handling the outdoor portion and the other person does the inside. Make sure you're communicating with the person doing stuff on the inside and let them know when you undo the water. I'll tell you what was very frustrating when we first started is we didn't know that we needed to do things in a certain order, and when he disconnect the water like super early and I would go to fill up our water bottles for the day, I'd be like, babe, I need the water, like you're gonna have to hook it back up so that it could run through the filter and I could have filtered water for the day. Check with your dear lovely wife and make sure she is ready to have the water unhooked. When it comes to the pantry, what we do is we do not, once again, add tension rods or secure anything. It's food, it's not fragile, it will do fine inside where it's at. But I will say, if you have heavy items and you are fortunate enough to have a really cool pantry like we do, you want to put those heavy items in the bottom floor. So we recently went to Costco and we stocked up on a bunch of sodas. Just anything that's excess and really heavy, we keep down here. Heavy items on the bottom, lighter items up top. So what do we put at the top of the shelf? Paper towels, toilet paper, just random things that don't weigh a lot. And guess what? They do fine on travel days. So last time we did a takedown video, you might have seen us taking this Keurig and also putting it at the bottom of the pantry because it's a heavy item. Since then, we have also museum puttied this bad boy, which was very risky when we first did it. We were very nervous and we didn't know what to expect. But we've been doing this for a few years now and we love it. The Keurig has not moved a single inch. The only thing I will make sure to remove is the catch tray because that will flop around. And then I make sure there's just no water in this bad boy. But look into Museum Putty if there's an item that you are just so sick of taking out and putting back. A lot of people did ask, does it stain your countertops? And I don't have an answer for you because we have never removed this to take a look at it. Comment below your thoughts if you're a Museum Putty enthusiast as well. Let us know, does it cause a stain on your countertops? Does it get really dirty? Send us some guiding information. I call a certain area of the RV a designated going to the truck pile. This spot is always known for, if you put something here in a travel day, it means you want it to go out to the truck. That way you're not running back and forth with small items, and then when it is time to start taking stuff to the truck, just grab it all at once. So what do we put here? Our wallet, phone, the water bottles that we're taking for the truck, and any snacks, which is a good thing to touch on because when this slide comes in, we cannot access the pantry. So keep that in mind if you want to do things in the right order. If you can't access your refrigerator, your sink, pantry, make sure that you're putting those items out of the way before you put the slides in. Otherwise, you're gonna do this whole song and dance. So now begs the question, do we take our most valuable items to the truck every single time to keep them safe? Or what do we do to secure things that you really don't wanna break because they're super valuable and you know that if they were down here, it would be a disaster? This is where having a front bedroom RV is super nice. Front of the RV in general does not get a lot of bouncing, especially if you have a fifth wheel and it's over the bed of the truck. The second thing is the bed is super cushiony and protects everything you put on it. How much stuff do we put on the bed, you might ask? And one more item for the bed is our clock that we keep up here. I just think it's too much bouncing and it could damage the clock. So to play it safe, We take it down, and it also goes on top of the bed. The last reason you want to put a lot of stuff on the bed, especially heavy items, is just in general, heavy items should go to the front of the RV to prevent any swaying in the back. Heavy items and valuable items in the front, even if you don't have a bed to put them on, I would secure them somewhere in the front of your RV. You know, this situation definitely makes taking a nap on travel days tough, but you did it once with Dexter when we were in a Walmart parking lot. I do remember that. You kind of just... like that? I don't know. Anything that is close to slide outs, I get away from it. It's not so much going in, but when the slide comes back out, it's just no good. Like, you just want to keep stuff away from the slide out. Take this, and you know what fancy move I do with this? Are you ready for it? That's it. Oh no, a charger. I forgot to put it in the basket. What do I do? Just put it on the bed. Bathroom. This is part of that bedroom slide, so this is gonna come in and get very close to the toilet. What's nice about that is we can still use our bathroom on travel days and the shower if we wanted to, and the sink. You ladies out there, a nice little hack. If you have beauty supplies or makeup, get yourself one of these bags. I mean, it's a mess in there, but whenever I do my makeup, all I need to do is grab this bag from the cabinet, open it up, and then everything's not falling out. It's kind of like within reach and yada yada. But when I'm done doing my makeup, some of you might have like hard bins, and that's a great idea too, but having this, if I don't have much room in a cabinet, it will literally just smush in there and fit perfectly fine. So think about bags like this for anything, not just makeup, because it will fit in any nook and cranny you push it into. Like this. I have a confession to make. I don't always do the same thing every time we pack up. It depends what mood I'm in. When packing up the stuff on the shelf here, sometimes I will take a towel, put it in the sink, and that way I can just take our toothbrushes and do that. And then you could also do that. And then you could also do that. It's so easy that way because it's all right there. But the problem you run into is if you need to use the sink or someone needs to wash their hands, now everything's in the way. So just take that into consideration, that it is an option for maybe a short travel day where you really don't need to use the sink very much. Oh, another item for the bed. Woo! It's good. Now, if I want to make sure we have access to the sink, all you have to do is just take your items and once again, keep them close by and just put them right up top. I like to still make sure that the soap is fairly accessible on travel days for washing hands. But when it comes to our toothbrushes, I just throw them in there. You like that? A few months ago, we bought these shower caddy tension rods. Because of these tension rods, I don't have to take these items and put them on the ground and do this. I have this lovely foot bath that I use when it's not 100 degrees out. So I will just take the leftover items and stick it right in there. Wow, it's so clean in here just like that. Kind of a reason I love travel days is you clean up your RV because you have to. So, winning. I'm sorry, but we do have to go today. We have to go bye-bye. We like to get Dexter loaded in his travel carrier before we start putting slides in. That way we know where he is, and there's no possibility that he could run behind it and get squashed. This cage we got on Amazon, and we like it because it folds down and it's flat for storage on travel days. There's times where we keep it out because we're traveling days back to back, and he hangs out in it. Like, he wants to sleep in it and not even come up to the bed with us. A little tip for you guys when it comes to pets on travel days and they're getting used to these crates and travel cages, get it out the night before so they can become acclimated to it, so that way they can smell it, things like that, if they're still in that process where they don't like traveling.
Alright, once we get Dexter secured and out of the way, what we kind of like to do is make sure we sweep off the slides here. Now, we don't personally have slide hoppers, and I know a lot of y'all probably already have those. We've never had the luxury of having them. So usually I'll have to get up on the ladder and sweep off the slides. I say that cautiously, however, because I don't want to ever encourage anyone to get up on the roof more times than they need to. It's a dangerous place to be. It's high up there, and I don't like being up there myself. With us not having any tree coverage at this site currently, I'm just gonna chalk it up to say those slides are good, and we're gonna go ahead and slide them in. Nothing above us, so no concerns for sticks or leaves or anything like that. Commentary from the back here. I think we're okay.
Before we put the slides in, we gotta touch on something that's debatable online. Do you keep your roller blinds up or down on travel days? Because there's conflicting information online. Now, the reason some people say to leave it up is because they don't like this motion, the bouncing. What do you guys do? You know the drill. Comment below.
One thing I like to do, the very first thing I like to do when getting outside is just turning on this TPMS here. We have this and we use this all the time on travel days. So getting it loaded up so that it can sync with the tires in the back is the way to go. Sometimes this can take a minute or two. I'm gonna let that load up. 2 birds with 1 stone. Remember that quote? Some things that constantly go through my mind when we're actually hooking up or getting ready to leave is, how's the water situation look? Do I need to fill up the fresh water holding tank while I'm at it? Or, you know, since today we're only making a short travel day, we don't need to worry about that. So I can go ahead and unhook the water, go ahead and unhook the sewer. I always leave the electrical connection on until the very last thing I do, because we like to keep the ACs running for as long as possible, because you want the minimal amount of time without AC. Just keep it simple, keep it cool. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this water off here. I do have a splitter, you know, 4-way hose splitter in case we need extra connections. I always keep this water pressure regulator constantly connected to the splitter. Now, when you do shut off the water, just be careful unhooking the water, because a lot of times that pressure backs up and it needs a release, and it could just spray everywhere when you're least expecting it. I like to turn it upside down because some of the residual water sits in there and it just prevents it from going everywhere in the wet bay. That should do it. I always keep an extra old rag on hand just so I can wipe things down, dry them off, and then I usually just set it right here and place this on top of it. Gives it a little cushion during the travel period. Unhook our city water here. Now we are officially unhooked. Put that there. I remember someone asked us, do we connect the 2 separate ends of the hoses together? I really don't. We are always using our hoses, and it's just one of those things. I keep them open to air at all times. Now, when I do go to coil this up, I let gravity kind of help me empty this hose out completely. That way water doesn't spill everywhere once again in the wet bay. I don't even know if people would recommend doing that, because on a long-term basis, it's not open to air. It might cause some mildew and just moisture buildup that you just don't want in your freshwater hose. It takes a second, but it's worth it. Now I can actually show you twist tie in action. Keep it right here on this hook here, and it's nice because they're huge, and you can even leave yourself a little space here if you want to put that around the hook, or you can put the hook through here. And then what I end up doing is I just hook it on this hook right here, out of sight, out of mind for the travel day. Now I do keep these gloves on hand. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm just gonna talk to all y'all folks that have a Costco membership. Look into the gloves there. These are really nice quality gloves, and you could get them at a cheap price. I do have this external valve, personally my favorite upgrade we've ever done. And you push that down, and now this is an external valve to prevent any seeping or leaking of nasty fluid coming back at you. And then voila, now there's that gate valve there, and it won't let any fluid out, which is really nice. Another cool feature I like, instead of hooking it back in on itself, is these came with little caps, which are pretty cool to prevent any of that nasty fluid getting everywhere. Lock it on there, put it in there, and now look at that, no mess. Boom. All right, I just shut the ACs off, so we cooled it down as much as we could. I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the power. Make sure at the breaker here, you just shut that breaker off, kill the power, and then unhook. And then you can unhook from the RV and then put it all away. Does anyone else struggle with this when putting these things away? Good night. Okay, calm down. Okay, you know what? So here's my solution. We just shove her on in here like so. All right, let's go see how those tire pressures are doing. Follow me. 110. 110, 110. Okay, we don't have to worry about tires, which is great. The truck tires are all good. One tip we did want to mention is when you get to the campground, make sure you get in the habit of looking at your tires, your brakes, your leaf springs, anything that could go wrong. The reason I say that is you want to do that when you get to the campground, because if you find something that's wrong, now you could get ahead of the game and start making the calls to somebody to help you out, like an RV tech or something, rather than just exploring and figuring it out the morning that you're leaving. You got half an hour to leave, and all of a sudden you realize one of your leaf springs snapped. It's just something to keep in mind.
While he is doing all the stuff with the connections or checking tire pressures, I'll just come and get the tonneau cover rolled up for him. We've made it to the process where we're ready to hook up the RV to the truck, so it's gonna start moving and articulating to get in setup position. Your steps need to be up and not touching the ground whenever you're working the auto level or any landing gear. So we're officially good now to start touching those buttons. Or pushing your husband's buttons, whatever you want.
Pushing my buttons indeed. Listen, if you are interested on how we do our setup and some really good key takeaways that you need to pay attention to when setting up your RV, I'll leave the video linked right up here for you to check out. Go watch this one after getting done watching this one.
Now what's great about having auto level is that the system remembers where your rig left off before you hit auto level. It's a setting on your control panel called auto hitch or return to hitch height, and you can press enter. But did you know, a little hack if you didn't know this, if you have this system, you can just press the left and the right buttons together and it'll do it. All right, you're hooked up and pretty much ready to go, right? Not yet. This is one of the most overlooked things when it comes to tearing down a campsite and leaving, is doing a walk around. And when I say walk around, you're checking the RV and you're making sure the connections are secure, doors are shut, but you're also making sure that you're not leaving anything at your campsite. Check to make sure that your water pressure regulator isn't still hooked up, or one of your adapters if you have to go to 30 amp. If you don't do a walk around, it's very, very easy to miss things. Like, a wheel chock, for example. Part of your walk around should also be checking that your lights work on the rig. So have someone up in the truck initiating controls while someone in the back is making sure that the brake lights work, the turn signal lights work.
All right, all looks good. Oh, hey, by the way, are you guys magic people? You guys want to see a magic trick? All right, let me show you. Boom, right here. A video just popped up and YouTube thinks that is a video you want to see. So take a chance, click on it, and we'll go over there and have some fun. We'll see you guys over there.